something that I can guarantee that we saw last week, a lot of the players actually showed up in the chat, which was pretty hilarious and a lot of fun. So get your questions ready because I guarantee we've already seen some of the players today frequenting the chat, which is really fun, having that level of interactivity. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of strategies these guys pull out based on the changes in the game. And I encourage anyone to get your questions ready because they might just show up in the chat and say hi to you.
Absolutely. No, I think it's great because a lot of these players are often giving, even from other groups and stuff, depending on how the games finishes, they're giving insights into what these other players are doing, which is super cool. I think one of the things I'm most excited about, though, is some potential addressing and some changes to some strategies that we saw last week, aka the exact suggestion that I was like, man, this is probably how I would nerf Kira. I was like, maybe just take it from 25% to 20%. That's exactly what they did. That's 100% it. I feel validated. That feels fantastic. Also, the changes to Dwarf Sniper, pretty darn cool. Might see some more hunters being run. There's also just some like general changes as well to some units, which I'm a big fan of. I think the fact that the developers are really looking to address the concerns the community has as well. I'm also looking at some like the experimental server changes that are, I don't think live yet, but when they are, I think those will be really, really cool and interesting. So overall, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to see more diverse strategies this time around. I'm excited. Glacial apparently is up. One of these potential things we'll see, some cave clan action. These were definitely not things we were seeing before. So I'm excited to see these shifts happen.
Yeah, you mentioned Glacial. The Desperate Doctor was nerfed a little bit from that Glacial lineup. And it's interesting, we didn't see too many Knights in play last week, even though Glacial Knight has been one of the most popular builds since Auto Chess has been a thing. We've seen some slight changes, as you mentioned, with Divinity and the Grand Herald. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to examine here. There's a lot of stuff to look out for. I wonder in this lobby, I'm looking at Monty in particular. It's funny, I saw Pure Zun in the chat, but we'll see what happens. So far, anything eventful? I mean, everyone's kind of low econ. We're early on in this game. We got actually 4 demons picked up in the form of Hell. We have 4 different players going for those Hell Knights, and we were just talking about how we didn't see too many Knights last week, and that might be changing. Yep. At least 4 players are considering it. In fact, I think I mentioned Monty earlier. He's got almost full Glacial Knight going, and he's adding in some Agarsis here.
I love it. I'm a big fan of Knights personally. I'm a fan of Knights or its variation in every single auto battler, and I am a fan of it here as well. So I think one of the things that we'll have to keep an eye on is how many players. Again, there's some perceptions of like, oh, I think this is what's going to be good. I think this is what the new hotness is going to be. But if everybody gets on that train, then everybody's going to run it. We're going to just run into the same situation we had before. You mentioned this right off the bat, Axel Toss. I thought this was such a great point. Players are going to need to take risks. They're going to need to think outside the box. And that is so cool. Just because one top player says something is good doesn't mean it's the new gospel. You've got to go out and try and find the strategy that works for you. And obviously, play with the pieces you're given. It's a super important balance to try and fix here.
Yeah, and on that note, something that I've run into, and I'm sure these players encounter, people watching encounter, where you have a strategy in mind, you have something you're playing for, but then all of a sudden you realize that the pieces are a little dried up that you need, and then you look at the list of players, and you see that other people might be going for what you're going for, and then something else you might notice is that there's a lot of pieces that aren't being claimed in the pool of pieces that are available. So then will you see more players completely transition in a snap second where they're going for something, but then just because of piece availability and what other players are going for, that's part of the risk factor almost. It's like, are we going to see some crazy transitions like that if players' builds are being messed with a little bit?
Yeah, that's something I want to keep an eye on for sure, because how you adapt to scarcity or lack thereof, how you take the pieces that are coming your way and can adapt your build to it. That's one of the big things I'm looking forward to. So we're jumping on board right now with Pure Zone. You mentioned it before. Somebody who's been struggling, honestly, a little bit so far from day number 1, didn't have the best opening But he's been able to have a pretty decent start so far. All of these players spending that coin right off the bat. Nobody's really building up too much of an economy here. We got Ziggy and Monty, who are going to be opening things up a little bit, getting those lost streaks going. But otherwise, everybody is just spending it. Everybody is trying to get those units on the bench. So I think that's kind of interesting here, how everybody's just kind of going all in. Nobody wants to let anything slip through their fingers.
Yeah, something interesting there too is as the days go along with these broadcasts, there's more gravity, there's more at stake, there's maybe more pressure, there's very important points on the line. So with your mentality, thinking about these players coming to this game and the strategy of open forwarding, opening up with a loss streak, is that harder to do when you're a little desperate in the standings? Is it harder to open up with a loss streak for these players who need to win? I think this might speak toward the maturity of Monty right now. The fact that he's perfectly okay opening up with the loss streak here. He's been in competitive play before. He's not going to freak out and try to. You see how everyone else in the lobby is going up to 5 real quick, except Ziggy and Monty. They're chilling. They're trying to build up their eco. So, but as I said, I think that might speak towards a little bit of maturity there, where it can be a little bit nerve-wracking to go for a loss streak, especially when there's so many points on the line. When we're trying to find out who's going to be top 8.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, again, the fight is not just against the players in your lobby. The fight is against every player in every lobby, because it's the top 8 across all these different groups that are going to be going. Not like the top 2 from, group 1 and 2 and 3. No. It's not how it works. But what I am seeing here, what is working, is that hunters we were talking about. And I think this is kind of cool. So we had like a demon sort of warrior transition. Now we're going into druid a little bit here. For Pure Zun, he's got the dwarf, he's got the Agarsis, he's going to have this negative armor, pairs really well with something like the hunters because they get that attack damage. So I'm a big fan of this right now. He's got this beefy wall up in front, he's going to have his hunters in the back, and of course that dwarf synergy, really important to note here, the change to it. The attack range increases by 2 grids for your adjacent allies. That's really, really cool to see.
Yeah, and he's really beefing up that sword, man. The level 2, he's got the pulse staff on it. Which greatly helps with the ability damage. Very powerful stuff so far. That's going to be a very strong core of for Pure Zun. And then he is going for that hunter, so we'll see what he turns that into. It is curious that he opened up with a couple Fallen Witchers. He had 2 Fallen Witchers on his board even, but then as we can see, there's nowhere to be seen. So he sold them right away. So we'll see what Pure Zun gets up to. It's definitely a curious start so far. Having an anchor in the 2-star swordman, and then going with some hunter in the background. We'll see if he sticks with that.
Yeah, and we'll see if he activates that second tier of the dwarf synergy down the line to be able to get that bonus there. But let's take a look at some other folks here. Let's take a look at Komburo here after this round, because he's someone else who has kind of been struggling a little bit so far, if I'm being honest. He's not had the best time so far in these games. He's one of the players sort of down towards the bottom of the leaderboard, if I recall. And I want to see kind of like what he's going to do here to adapt to this, how the reactions are going to go. That's sort of my big question mark and looking at this. And we are seeing Komburo. He's going to be getting that demon, getting some knights, some feathered, some Agarsis, some hunter, a lot of different stuff happening right now. And I think he'll probably adapt and go into sort of whatever is going to be the least contested as this game goes on.
Yeah, you mentioned Hunter Agarsis, and as you were noticing that, Pure Zun was the only other player in the lobby really going for that Agarsis Hunter. But now, if you look at Pure Zun, guess what? It's all gone. He literally just had full Agarsis Hunter loadout, but he just sold everything in that moment. So I was about to comment. Yeah, I was about to comment how Komburo, it might be tough for him to go for this Hunter Agarsis because that's what Pure Zun was going for. But now Pure Zun just completely ditched all that.
Well, there you go. Being able to adapt in an instant, changing things up based on what's coming your way. Cave Clan, you've got a couple of Cave Clan coming on over. You've got some warriors, and you've got those druids. So just going to adapt to that. We'll see how that plays out. Not seeing a ton of Glacial coming in, which is something that I think players were playing around with as well. But we have seen a Dragon Knight coming in for Komburo here. Or actually, I'm on Devlis' screen now. I've got myself on the wrong side. But we do have a lot of knights still being played here. 3 players playing into knights, which is hilarious to me because that's something we saw exactly 0 of last week.
Yeah, and just a quick side note, I was looking at Pure Zun's picks. He has 2 dwarf snipers and an Umbra just looking at him, but he's not selecting any of them, which is kind of funny because he just threw all of it away. So you wonder, are those his pieces, or should he have kept going with Hunter Garces? I'm still a little bit surprised that he went for that switch, given to how invested he was and how well he was doing. But yeah, Pierzon's still chilling with that 7-win streak. He mentioned the Knights, quite a few players going for that. We'll see if that adjusts on the way through. Kimburo, he might be very happy with his Hunter Garces decision because not many other players are going for that. Looks like we have one player going all out assassin. That's Ziggy, although he finds himself near the bottom of the leaderboard. So generally, I feel like assassin players, a lot of them build on win streaks, but Ziggy going from the bottom up with those assassins, we'll see if that works out for him. Monty, meanwhile, he's just been chilling at the bottom, still accumulating his gold and trying to get his economy up. Looks like he's going somewhat into priest dragon, some druid action, but Monty might be feeling a little bit of pressure. It's almost time for him to start turning some things around as he approaches half health, while we have 2 players still in the 90s on HP.
And there's a lot to dissect from all that. First of all, Pierzon actually just lost to Kimburo's board. His streak is over. He actually went down during that, so that's really interesting. Monty also, so HP is looking pretty good, but he hasn't been able to maintain his loss streak. He's now only at a 4. I think he must have won one in there, maybe by accident, over the course of that. So his economy is also not as good as it should be, but his HP is looking pretty good. All things considered, that we are now on round 13. That's definitely coming in from that full priest buff that he's been getting here. So he is going to be playing around with those priests. So keep an eye on that. Some changes being made there as well. So a lot of new changes. I feel like we're looking at a new game because like these updates and stuff, this is just so interesting because the strategies are a complete, I mean, some of the core things are the same, but it feels like a complete 180 from what we've seen last week.
Yeah, and there's a few things that can go into that. Some players do hide their strategies, and as I mentioned, there's no point to hiding your strategies after today. Today is the critical day if you're trying to get top 8. Sure, we have another broadcast day, really cataloging the rest of it, but today is the meat of the sandwich through and through. So we'll see, man. At the championships in October, we saw a 3-star Fallen Witcher just destroy everyone. Like, it was a random round, and then one of the players just brought out a 3-star Fallen Witcher that it was just destroying. So it's like, what curiosities will we see today where there's no more hiding? It's going to be an interesting day. It will be an interesting day for sure. And we're already seeing less Kira, maybe less Venomancer, but we got a big sample set to pull from with all these players. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
And I think it's so interesting because 2 of the players who I highlighted off the bat, Pierzon and Kimburo. Kimburo's now on a huge win streak. Pierzon's on a loss streak. So we'll be keeping an eye on those 2 as well. But let's check in with some other folks here because Bobula as well is on a bit of a loss streak here. Let's see what's going for him here. He is going to be going to these divinities. Some slight nerfs coming out towards the divinities, and of course that Grand Herald now receiving those nerfs as well. So we'll see how that goes. If players are still going to want to really commit to this strategy, if this is going to be a change, I expect that we're going to see quite a lot of late game swapping back and forth around with these builds to try and counter what your opponents are doing, because like part of the joys of auto battlers is there is that element of rock paper scissors that goes into them. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
We are seeing a perpetually spinning swordman on screen.
Yep.
Make a wish.
Might be having some issues here with our connection. I have just disconnected from the lobby. Hopefully our observer is still in. Nope, they seem to be okay. They're good to go. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Woo! Joyous. That's the thing, though. Same day patch. Things are going to be a little bit still ironing out all the kinks, and that's a-okay. Let's jump aboard with Choke God. Actually, I changed my mind. Bobula. I looked at your screen for all 2 seconds, but now I want to check out Choke God. The guy in first place now, clearly a fan favorite in the chat, running Spirit Mages. So something completely different from everybody else here. And this is also a lot of fun.
Yeah, mixing in the Assassin as well. I mentioned only one player earlier really going heavy in the Assassin, which is Ziggy. So Choke God also diving into the Assassin. Actually, does he only have 2 Assassin? That's strange. Well, I'll keep an eye on that. No, he should have 3. Okay. That's a little strange. Okay, yeah, he is running 3 assassin, but yeah, I mean, a lot of splash damage available, a lot of AOE for those water spirits, and the fact that he has like 2.5, he's well on his way to picking up 3-star. If he can get that into a 3-star territory, that can be pretty scary, especially if he buffs it up with a bunch of items. But it looks like he's actually pulling away from the assassins. Yeah, I was wondering about that. He used to have Venom with the little dragon assassin bonus, but it looks like he's gotten rid of that. So really gonna lean more heavily into those mages. I like what we're seeing at Choke God. It's pretty fun. We'll see if he can scale that into the late game, but a lot of variability across the board here. A couple players with win streaks that are pretty solid, Kimburo and Ziggy. A couple players with loss streaks, Pirzon and Flame. Monty's still towards the bottom as we watch this battle unfold. And it looks like a pretty close one. And
Yeah,
it looks like he
gonna
just
come down
fell
to
to
the
Monty, just
wire.
barely. Yep.
Yeah, really, really close there. Monty now looking to be on the comeback here. And I think it's actually interesting, the idea of running Spirit Mages, just given how many Knights are in the lobby. The MR that you're going to get from that is going to counteract a lot of that Mage bonus. So we'll see if Mages late game end up being the call here, or if these Knights are going to be able to overcome it. That's what we're seeing Kumburo running here. And of course, changes being made to things like the Argali Knight to make him a little bit more aggressive, which I find really interesting. Not healing the lowest health target, but instead healing the target that's going to do the most damage to your opponents. So that's super cool as well. We'll see how that ends up playing out. This is day one. I haven't been able to do all the math to sort of see what that break point is for at what point like mages are going to take down knights there, or sort of what that counter is. We did see a lot of mages being run last week and still no knights coming out. So I'm guessing that mages may still have the advantage. We'll find out.
Yeah, we see as we're watching Kumburo, we see him utilizing Feathered. He's got the Hunter out, Garrus Hunter. That's like the third time we've mentioned that. It was Kumburo and, of course, Pirzon that were going for it earlier. So Kumburo sticking more with it. And this is something I've kind of been doing before any patches, just for fun. The Hunter combined with the Garrus. There's a lot of things you can do with that, and especially utilizing the Umbra. Umbra is has become one of my favorite pieces. I just playing around with pieces that multiply, right, can be so annoying for your opponents. So Umbra, the fact that Umbra multiplies a little bit and also has the Garrus, the 100 bonus, and you can do some fun dragon things, especially pick up a Dragon Knight. And then guess what? You're all of a sudden synchronizing with the Evil Knight if you've got a Dragon Knight going on. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with this build that Kimburo is going for. And if you look at the overall layout of all the pieces, he's got a lot of different synergies that he's working towards. So, and on top of that, the Lightblade Knight can be one of the best pieces in the game if you can really scale him up. And we can see Kimburo loading that Lightblade Knight with some items as well. So, a lot of firepower here for Kimburo. He's on a 9 win streak. We'll see if he can hold on to it. It feels like he can. He's got 4 Knights on the board, helping himself very nicely with that Knight bonus. So, pretty curious stuff. The pressure's on for the bottom of the lobby right now, as we see a few players getting close to that 30 mark.
Yeah, the HPs are starting to dwindle for some of them. I love the Lightblade Knight carry, those Moonglaves, the way they're just able to bounce. It's just, I mean, you get it's just a pure carry in the sense of the term. You just keep your Lightblade Knight alive, let them just keep on attacking, and let those bounces just keep on chugging away. But let's jump back on board with Monty. One of these players that you have your eyes on, but their HP looking not so ideal here in this scenario. They are going into economy. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, Monty's getting below 10 on his gold. His economy is in shambles. Like, if your HP is this low, you want to be thriving. You want to be printing the checks. Nice industry. Monty has none of that going. So either he's not high rolling or he's taking big risks here, but we can see 6 mages on the board. So this is why he's been throwing away his economy, just really trying to get these strong mage pieces out, because he does not have much room at all to lose anymore. It is time for Monty to go on a win streak if he's going to have hope in this game.
Yeah, it's got to be, it's now or never, because 32 HP, not a whole lot to work with. Obviously, that initial loss streak is one thing to keep in mind, but now pieces are just getting chunked, and is going to be able to claim the victory here. Actually, it says victory, but I see the loss bonus coming in there. So Monty's going to lose again. This
And
is not
he
ideal.
just lost to Kumburos at the top of the lobby, who we were
Yeah.
just talking about. So that was fun
Yeah.
to kind of see that unfold. Which can be okay for Monty. I mean, the bad news is that he lost there and he lost a good chunk of his HP. But the good news is he played it. That was the guy who's at the top of the lobby. So from here, he's going to be facing off against the rest of the lobby, and maybe he will fare better going for those six mage strength. Let's see how he does here. Of course, the Shining Dragon and the Tortola Elder are pretty much the two main AoE splash damagers. Of course, you got the Thunder Spirit also adding to that AoE. If you can combine those abilities together, that's when the good stuff happens. But it looks like he just doesn't have a lot of sustain there. Like, really, he got kind of knocked out before any of his spellcasters can do their big damage. So Monty, he's definitely in dire straits. He's not rolling how he wants. He needs something to soak up to sustain his pieces a little bit longer so that he can get his spells off.
And even beyond that, he just needs to get some of the right pieces. His Tortola Elder is still only level 1. His Winter Chiropteran is still only level 1, in addition to the DK. So that's just not ideal. He's also only at level 8. A lot of these other players are starting to get up towards level 9. Here's actually just leveled to level 8. So he was at level 7 up until this point. So yeah, he's down to the wire. He is getting the Storm Shaman in the mix as well. This is bad news, Bears. We'll see how this goes. Oh, boy. With only 14 HP, he needs a bit of a miracle run. His spells need to connect all the way across and get it. Okay, there we go. There we go.
That's what we're
all right,
looking
Monty,
for.
I believe.
I don't know if I believe, but that's what we're looking for. I mentioned sustain. He just picked up a level 2 Storm Shaman and a level 2 Dragon Knight. Not only that, his Dragon Knight, he has itemed it to the teeth. So that might be the little bit of sustain he needs, but we saw how much firepower he can get across once those spells are all casted. That's just the critical thing. He's just got to keep those spellcasters alive, which makes me wonder why he doesn't, I don't know, split up his pieces a little bit more, maybe put the Dragon Knight a little bit more towards the front. But we're not seeing anything like that. I'm just a little nervous that he's a little bit clumped in the corner, so he can leave himself a little vulnerable.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes for him. There's definitely a strategy involved. And again,
I think we have to stay on Monty.
We have to. Yeah, we have to stay on Monty. I think part of it is wanting to draw all your opponents in so you can have, like, putting in the top right corner your Thunder Spirit, so you can see it right there. It hits absolutely everybody, but he's going up a very, a pretty strong board there from Bobulus, or Bobula, I should say. So, oh man, this is going to come down to the wire. But you talked about the idea of just hitting out your DK. It's working pretty well. There we are.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time for Monty to build that win streak. Looks like he's got an egg on the board. He's going to pick that up. He is. And an additional Water Spirit. He's so far away from having an effective Water Spirit. I mean, he could try to combine it to 2-star Water Spirit right now, but it looks like he's going to save the egg. Which is somewhat interesting. So yeah, the key for Monty, once again, just get those spells off, get that AoE done before he falls himself. And his Hell Knight right now, or sorry, his Dragon Knight right now is just critical in keeping that sustain going. So let's see if Monty can keep it up. Okay, against the Wildling Ripper, obviously not going to have too much trouble there. I'm scanning the rest of the lobby real quick too. Looks like we have 2 players on full econ, Kumburo and Bobula. Meanwhile, everyone else a little bit topsy-turvy, so kind of an uncomfortable lobby from an economic standpoint. Everyone's kind of clawing their way through this lobby. Again, top 4 is really what you're looking for in a format like this. Monty has been near the top of our overall leaderboard, so getting last here, it wouldn't be a disaster, but every point is so helpful for him right now, so we'll have to see if he can bring it back. But a relatively close lobby overall.
Yeah, no, it's super close right now. I think the biggest things I'm noticing, I'm really curious when we can, not right now, I want to follow along with Monty and see if he can stabilize or if he's going to get knocked out. Devulus as well. He's running that Glacier Knight. That's something I'm really, really curious to see. I'm a big fan of Glacier. He's got a 3-star Frost Knight already. He's had that for a while. A lot of fun there. As well as mixing in that Marines for all that additional MR. But oh my goodness, that board, hang on. Oh boy.
What?
Oh, DK, hang on. I believe in the splash damage.
Wow. I'm impressed and a little surprised. It looks like he was just getting just wiped. It looked like he was getting wiped there, but somehow his Dragon Knight survives and navigates a 1v4. I talked about the Dragon Knight being his only sustain. I didn't mean it to that extent. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That was just sort of an all-in like man mode moment. So great job there for Monty. He's been able to hold on, and now Devulus, Bobula, Flame, all within 13 HP. Sort of this pack at the bottom, but Flame and Bobula are both on 3 loss streaks. So if we jump on board with Bobula as well, he's going for this divinity. He's got, this is interesting. I mean, he's holding on to this build despite the fact with the Warlocks that did receive some gentle nerfs, albeit, but we'll see if he's going to have a lot of success here with it.
Bobula looking pretty healthy, going up against it looks like Kamburo. We're talking about his build a little earlier, and no problems whatsoever. Meanwhile, Monty did lose just barely on his board, going down to 7 health. So this is going to be a critical point for the bottom 3, I would say right now. Bobula is actually, we'll call it bottom 4. 21, 14, 9, and 7 on those HP bars. So this is really coming down to the wire for all these players, and it's a pretty big difference between 8th and 5th. If you're top 4 in this lobby, you're feeling pretty good. So we'll have to see how these positions fall, as all these players at the bottom are just going to be scrambling, even just to stay alive another second, just to outlast another player in the lobby.
Because that's something I want to note. Devulus and Monty are 2 of the top players coming into this. Devulus was number 1 in the lobby coming into this. Monty's another one, and Devulus is actually the first one out. He lost to Pearson.
Wow.
And he's going to be knocked out first here. Very interesting. And this lobby feels so much like the haves and the have-nots. You've got 4 players with 40 and above HP and 4 players below 20 HP. Just things not working out for the Monty might be next up on the chopping block. Let's jump on board with Monty here, and Flame as well. Or Flame. We can watch Flame. Let's watch Flame. They're both really close to each other here. Oh, okay. I'm debating our observer.
It's funny. I mean, they're very similar boards, even as you say that, which might make it a little bit more confusing, because Flame is also going for 6 mage, and he's got Spirit Mages also going. So effectively identical builds between Flame and Monty, and guess what? They're playing each other on Monty's board, which is pretty funny. Flame going up against Pearson, Flame getting knocked out by Pearson, and Monty surviving, staying out of the bottom 2. And again, it's just his Dragon Knight at the end, once again, keeping him alive. So
Monty has both were running.
Has a
both
poster.
were running.
Yeah, well,
Human,
and here's what's interesting.
Dragon, Spirit, Mage. But the difference was
Flame,
Monty was level 8. Flame was level 9. That's crazy.
And well, for Monty now, Flame just dropped all those pieces. So if Monty can do some high rolling, like right now, he can pick up a lot of those pieces that Flame had. So if Monty can really hang on for the next couple rounds, he might really have enough to get a 3-star or 2 also, because of how similar their boards were.
I mean, we say this, but he's got 2 gold in his pocket. He's still only on a level 1 Tortola Elder. He's still only on a level 1 Water Spirit, and he's still only on a level 1 Winter Chiropteran. This is not an ideal situation for Monty. He has just not had the pieces come his way, and he's only level 8. So and he's not even close to leveling. So he's going to be stuck here for a while. He rolled down to just try and survive. I think at this point, Monty did what he wanted to do. He did what he wanted to do. He outlasted a couple other people.
Yeah, and he threw away his economy to do it. And that was about 10 rounds ago when he kind of made that decision. He made the decision, you know what, see you later, economy. I'm just going to try to outlast these 2. So now with that low economy, we'll see how far he can go. At this point, I think he will be happy if he outlasts Bobula, and then he'll probably be like, all right, that's good enough. And no one would shame him for getting knocked in 5th after having a rough start. So we will see what happens. It looks like we are still looking up at Monty going up against Pearson, who just knocked out Flame with a very similar board. I don't know if Flame had the Dragon Knight, by the way. That might be the critical element here for Monty. Let's see if he can outlast again in the clutch. Is it going to happen? Yes, it is. Monty, I was going to say he has a poster of his Dragon Knight in his room. That's my bet. He's got it up there because this Dragon Knight has been carrying him out of the bottom of this lobby.
He's got the Halberd, he's got the Cuirass, he's got the Maelstrom, he's got the Python wand. I mean, he's feeling pretty darn good right now. He's hitting hard. He's a lot more survivable, which is big here. Bobula is down to not a whole lot of HP. So I cannot believe how little this lobby has shifted in like the last 7 rounds. It's still these bottom 4 players. They're all just sort of cannibalizing each other and going out early. And then these top 4 players whose HP has changed like not at all. I think Ziggy has been on 42 HP for ages.
This might be the moment for Monty. The Dragon Knight, there's no way it survives this one. I'm sorry. I'm calling it now. The Dragon Knight has been too strong. He's not strong enough to do it again. Is he gonna barely stay alive? No, there it goes. Monty, I mean, he fought hard. That Dragon Knight fought hard, but he's out.
Tooth and nail. He fought tooth and nail.
Yep.
Absolutely wild. Let's jump on board with Bobula now. Ziggy's win streak finally came to an end. The boy Ziggy doing work there, but let's jump on board with Bobula. He's going again. He's running this Divinity build. It was working really well for him. He's got the Warlocks mixed in. He's got the Wizards mixed in. He's got a little bit of Priest. Just to round that out there, and then the demon as well. But he's moving things around. He's totally swapping sides. So after that loss, he wants to make sure that he's switching things up a little bit here and not being too predictable. But my goodness, is he taking damage?
Yeah, going up against Kamburo here, and I can't wait to look at Kamburo again because that was pretty strong. Bobula taken out, falling mercy to that Agarsis Hunter composition with the Lightblade Knight mixed in. So Bobula is out of there. And now we are left to 4 in the lobby, and we are going to take a look at Kamburo going up against Ziggy. He's actually going to fall, and that's something I wanted to note too. The number of 3-stars we're seeing in this lobby has not been huge. In fact, there's only 1, and the one that we see is being helped by a Druid buff, which is the Warpwood Sage belonging to Ziggy. And Ziggy actually picking up an Abyssal Crawler 3-star as well. Not only that, click on that Abyssal Crawler and just see how many items are on that bad boy. That could be critical for Ziggy to bring it back. He's also working with the 6 Assassin bonus, so it's possible for Ziggy to come back here, especially because he's got 2 3-stars. But his downfall, I don't know if it's the fact that he's level 9 compared to his opponents or level 10. So it looks okay to me. We'll see if he can stay alive.
Yeah, and I'm spectating Ziggy's board, and he was actually able to take down Choke God on his screen. That a 5k damage being done by that Abyssal Crawler, doubling any other one of his units is pretty big. Let's jump on board with Ziggy after this as well. I want to watch him a little bit. He's the only one who's consistently been going Assassins. I seem to recall him going Assassins last week. I don't feel like that was in my imagination. And he just picked up another 3-star. He got his Shadow Crawler. So he's now got 3 3-stars on the board. Pearson's Dragon Knight is still only level 1. His Scryer, I mean, yeah, of course, still only level 1. But this is actually looking really good for Ziggy right now.
Yeah, top 2 is within reach here. His big disadvantage is his economy right now, all the way down to 5 gold. Meanwhile, Kamburo is up to 47. But 3 3-stars for Ziggy when no one else has a 3-star. Also, he's the only player going for Assassin in the lobby. No one else is really going for Assassin, so that's really helping him out. But for Kamburo, not only is his economy phenomenal, but he's the only player really going for Knights, and he's also the only player really going for Agarsis Hunter. So Kamburo running into the least amount of resistance given the build that he's choosing to go for.
Yeah, and that's sometimes, again, the path of least resistance. It's got to flow like water. You float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Yeah, I think that's how it is. No, not quite the same as in boxing as in auto chess, but good times being had. We're seeing now Ziggy facing up against Kamburo. So this was really my test here. How did the Knights do? How hard does that Lightblade Knight hit? It hits hard if you can keep it alive, but now it's separated off on its own, and I don't think it's going to be nearly. Yeah. Oh, it's the battle of the carries with the Abyssal Crawler. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
With that Axe of Fury. Oh boy.
Look at the damage on that Abyssal Crawler, dude. 13,540. That is insane. And that, I mean, like, he might have enough here to really just get carried to victory by the 3-star power that he has. Also, I think Ziggy's the only player going for Druid, it seems like. That could also scale really well for him, as it's a little easier to get those 3-stars up. If you're the only player going for Druid, we see him picking up another Razor Claw. I think Ziggy might have a pretty clear advantage here in this lobby. It might be up to other players to hold on, or for at least Choke God and Pearson they're going for similar compositions. So Choke God and Pure Zone just have to hope the other player goes out first so that they can pick up some pieces that they need. But once again, Ziggy just looks so strong to me right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really seeing the power of the assassins here. There's not a lot of, again, my big question was, how do the knights survive? If the knights go down, that's one thing. Mages, if they're able to get their spells off, if they're able to get the nukes, they can take down assassins. But like assassins seem like they're a natural counter, able to dive into the back line, take down all those squishy mages. So, and especially if you can get the levels up, I think this really just comes down to playing something you're still comfortable with, regardless of the patch. Nobody else going for it, getting the 3 stars. It seems like everything's going right for Ziggy right now.
He's even trying to build up his economy a little bit more, which is pretty smart. He's still not level 10. The other 3 players in the lobby are level 10. So Ziggy, it's very important for him to get his economy up to add that 10th piece. Meanwhile, by the way, Kamburo was able to pick up the 3-star Lightblade Knight. And anyone watching in YouTube, I mean, everyone knows the feeling when you're able to find that 3-star Lightblade Knight. You're usually pretty happy. You're loading it up with items, and that's exactly what Kamburo is doing. So the critical thing for him, can he keep that Lightblade Knight long enough, alive long enough against Ziggy's ferocious assassins for it to be as effective as he needs it to be? But I still give a slight edge to Ziggy here, while we have Choke God and Pure Zun both clawing for 3rd place in the lobby.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely going to come down to a battle of Ziggy and Kamburo. I think Choke God and Pure Zun are probably not long for this world. I want to watch Kamburo here, and they're actually facing off against Ziggy. So this will be a really big answer to the questions. Can this Lightblade Knight stay alive? It is the battle of the 3-star carries, and we're seeing it happen right now. But oh my goodness, even with the nerfs to the Abyssal Crawler, it's still hitting like an absolute truck. Can it break through? No, it can't.
Whoa.
I'm passing this like play-by-play because it's that entertaining.
Look at the damage on the Lightblade Knight. It's 14,497. Like, this is the battle we're seeing between the Abyssal Crawler and the Lightblade Knight. Which carry is better? And Kamburo, also look at the items on that Lightblade Knight. It's
the
just
halberd, the disarm, and the evasion makes such a difference. Oh my goodness, that was the perfect build choice there, going for that halberd. And now I'm not sure. We should jump on board with Pure Zun, though. We should take a look at these players who are down towards the bottom here in this top 4. Let's see how they're going to be able to do. 6 mage, spirits, humans. We'll see if Pure Zun's going to be able to hold on, or if it's going to be Choke God. Yeah,
similar builds for both Choke God and Pure Zun, which is not good news, because they're probably both going to get eliminated at the same time. And what they both really want is to outlast the other, just at least 1 round, so they can pick up the items they need, the pieces that they would need that the other guy has. So, desperation time, definitely, for Choke God and Pure Zun. Pure Zun, he's got that 3-star Storm Shaman, which is pretty nice. Choke God, meanwhile, does he have any 3 stars? Not really. Even has a 2-star helicopter mixed in. Okay, fine. It's clearly not really the build he was looking for, and just because other players in the lobby are picking up your pieces.
Yeah, and we're seeing a sort of a hybrid split carry situation here, both putting items both on the Storm Shaman and on the Dark Spirit for Pure Zun, as he's facing down Kamburo this time. But I don't think this is going to happen. I touched on it really early. The power of the knights into these mages, just having that additional MR, that magic resistance, is just feels like a very simple counter. It's just straight up, like, you're just not going to do as much damage. The MR that you're taking away is coming back.
Both
and
out.
Then you just both out in an instant there, which makes it a one-on-one battle. Whose POV do you want to watch? I leave it to you, Axel Toss.
Let's look at Ziggy for now, because he has decisions to make. He's still level 9, and he's got 51 in the bank. So clearly, I think he's waiting 1 more round before going up to level 10. I think without a doubt he'll go up to level 10 in the next turn. So let's sit back, relax, and watch Ziggy do his thing. Also, he picked up Unicorn, so still going for 4 hybrid buffs, it looks like. And obviously the battle comes down to the Lightblade Knight and the Abyssal Crawler. The Lightblade Knight belonging to Kamburo, the Abyssal Crawler belonging to Ziggy. Who's going to come out the victor on Kamburo's board? It looks like the Lightblade Knight is able to get the work done.
I also want to note, though, if we hop on over to Kamburo's board, that we're talking about this Lightblade Knight. We've been hyping up this Lightblade Knight, but look at the items on the DK as well. He's got a Heaven's Gift. He's got a Ghostblade. Like, this is like he's also putting some of these resources into buffing up this DK because, of course, with that resonant, you just got that splash damage. So that's huge. So keep an eye on the Lightblade Knight's damage, but I'm also curious to see how much the DK is doing, even just on attack, but also as a screen, as this could potentially be the last round if it's a bit of a blowout.
Yeah, and remember, Monty had that probably the same Dragon Knight that now Kambiro is using. So Kambiro, the only player in the lobby at this point, obviously, to still his Knights. That's going to work to his advantage. Will we see that sustainability from the Dragon Knight? And it comes down to the wire. I'm looking at Ziggy's board against Kambiro. The Abyssal Crawler just barely succeeding. 14,202 damage. This is back and forth. This is still anyone's game here. Ziggy is now up to level 10. Both the economies are pretty much in shambles. Kambiro with a slightly better economy here. We'll see what he ends up looking for. I thought of a fun game for the chat, and feel free to play it or not. I don't care if no one answers, but what is the highest damage that we're going to see from an item today? Or from a piece today? What's the highest DPS we're going to see in one round? Already we've seen 14,994, I think, from the Lightblade Knight. If you think we're going to see higher than that, let us know in the chat and tell us what number you think that is. Because I don't know if that's going to be beat, personally.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough one to beat. Maybe we'll see it this time. I don't know. We are seeing the Petrifying Gaze coming in there, the Abyssal Gaze from the Siren, trying to just keep them down a little bit longer, but it is still going to be the victory, at least on the board of Kambiro. So solid there. Did both players win on their boards? Because there's a level 3 Razor Claw now out, which is a huge deal for Ziggy. He's got the level 3 Razor Claw additionally. So, and now he's got the level 2 Siren in. So, I don't know. I can't pick a winner. Chad, who do you think? When it comes down to this top two, when you're seeing this, who do you think is going to get... Vote Ziggy, vote Kambiro, hashtag Ziggy, hashtag Kambiro. Who do you think is going to come out on top? I think that's the question I want to ask.
It's a good question. It is a good question right now. This is kind of a fun dynamic we're seeing play out. We got the Knight, Hunter, Agarsis against the mostly Assassin with Druid mixed in. Assassin Druid, right? Like, that's pretty fun. Obviously, the Druid is the sustain answer because I mean, we're kind of commenting on that. Whether you're going mage or assassin, you need some sustain. So Druid is that sustain factor here for Ziggy, while getting those 3-star assassins working. Meanwhile, the sustain for Kambiro, he's relying on the Knights to really add to his sustain, and he's got the Agarsis Hunter mixed in with the 3-star Lightblade and the 3-star Dragon Knight. So it's fun. This is fun stuff here. Seeing these synergies clash. I'm going to be looking at the chat also to see who they think's going to win.
Yeah, you talked about. I mean, yeah, having the additional. Oh man, I don't know. I don't even want to try and guess at this point.
I would
don't even
maybe
wanna
lean
try.
towards Ziggy. I would lean towards Ziggy personally.
All right, we're gonna find out. Watching Kambiro's board here on the main stream, seeing if he can sustain through, but he's got to deal with that Abyssal Crawler, which is just going to town on his board. Oh my goodness. Just doing so much damage there. Now Kambiro is down 23 to 22 HP. Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah. Okay, big props to Ziggy though, because during all this, he had to try to get the 3-star, he had to find the 3-star Razor Claw, and then also he had to try to get his economy in a good enough shape to go to level 10. So he was able to get this composition going while doing that. And I think we're just seeing the power of all these 3-star assassins. They are just completely wiping the back line in milliseconds.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw the Shining Assassin just get absolutely demolished on Ziggy's board. He was able to like 2-shot that. He's now on a 4-win streak as Ziggy. Kambiro just seems to be slowly fading away here. Oh my goodness, Ziggy seems to have found the potent combo, getting himself up to level. And keep in mind, he's doing this. Oh. I was going to say, well, having 2 level 2 Shining Assassins, which he's just got to level 3, he's now able to throw in his Pirate Captain, which means he's going to have the Ghostly Ship for the additional CC, be able to throw that up in front as another beefy unit. He's now got, let's count them, ladies and gents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level 3s. This is an epic 1v1 for the ages, and Ziggy is not backing down.
Yeah, just really well played overall by Ziggy. This has to be his to win. It's just too strong. It's just way too strong. Only 2 3-stars. The Lightblade Knight and the Dragon Knight is good for Kambiro, but it's just not quite good enough. Ziggy showing the power of these 3-star assassins. No one else in the lobby going for it. Kambiro down to 8 HP on a 3-loss streak. I also wanted to read some of our quiz entries in the chat. I asked, what's the highest damage that we will see today? Bad Gamer saying 20k, Mullert saying 88k, Malagos saying 16k, Frozer saying 22k full stacked Venomancer, Dark Turkey says 18k, Very nice. Oh, Very nice is here. Very nice is 22k. All right, thanks for submitting.
We'll see what the answer is at the end. Let's jump aboard with Kambiro though for this final fight because he's down to 8 HP. He's on a 3-loss streak. Let's see if Kambiro on his board is going to be able to hold out here. Just when the assassins jump in, it's just it's instant. It's a one shot. Yeah. It's a deletion. It's deletion. Like it's not even close. But as I say that, maybe they hold on.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cutting it close. Let's see. Okay, so it's all about the Dragon Knight and the Lightblade Knight. It comes down to the items they have. It comes down to how he's positioning them. I think Kambiro did a good job positioning there because he was able to keep the Dragon Knight and the Lightblade Knight alive. I wonder if Ziggy can figure out a way to isolate those guys by how he positions his assassins. What he wants his assassins to do is jump on top of the Lightblade, jump on top of the Dragon Knight. But in the round that we just saw, that didn't happen. So the Dragon Knight and the Lightblade Knight were able to survive. So this is close. I like it. Very nice.
This is getting down to the wire right now. This is just getting so close. The fact that we're at round 50. I don't think we've ever gotten to a round 50 here in the ESL Mobile Open playoffs for auto chess. This is really a first. And I mean that's Roche. We don't win those generally. So yeah, no, I don't think we're winning that. Maybe.
Not dying.
It won't die. There we go.
Whoa, he almost lost there, straight up. Okay, Ziggy won his. Kambiro literally almost got eliminated by the Black Dragon there. He's down to 2 HP. This is where, I don't know, you kind of hope. You hope your Lightblade Knight and your Dragon Knight survive the first 50% of the battle.
That's really it. They just have to survive instant deletion. And he's trying to bait with his Umbra, with his Agarsis Ranger. He's trying to bait the assassins over to the other side. And we'll see if he's gonna be able to do that. No, he's not.
Ooh.
He's getting a big ult on this side from the Siren. This is gonna be big with the ghostly ship coming in as well. That's CC. That's it. That's just gonna be GG. That is gonna be our first game in the books. Ziggy coming in with the assassins, holding his ground and never questioning that strat from beginning to end. He was running assassins from like round 6, never looked back, made it look really good, built himself up some big beefy carries, wasn't afraid to roll for 3s, got the druids involved, and ended up just barely scraping out an epic victory. I think we saw like 15 to 18 rounds of 1v1 there at the end. That is bizarre. That is so much that we almost never see that at Axel Toss. That's wild.
Yeah, it's fun to see it come down to the very end like that. Also, it was fun seeing Monty try to like hold on when he was going the Dragon Knight. And then we didn't really see too many knights played last week, so we saw quite a bit of that already in that first game. And then the strength of the assassins, and I think a lot of that for Ziggy had to do with the fact that not many other people were going assassins. So he was really able to just pick up all the 3 stars he needed, and then we saw how fast damage was being done. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it was a great play from start to finish. Let's take a look back at it though. Let's relish in this with our Xperia highlights, because that was a fantastic game, the longest game we've seen yet in the playoffs. Axel Toss. Let's take another look.
Yeah, we're starting off with Pure Zone. If I remember correctly, he had a crazy game last week where he went on a ridiculous win streak, but then he dropped all the way to the bottom and got 8th, I think, in the game. We saw something similar here where he started off with a win streak, and he didn't do as bad as he did last time, but showing the strength of that early 2-star Swordman, getting that working. Now we're moving on to, this is Choke God in a fight against Monty. We see Choke God early on trying to get the mages going. Choke God would not go on to finish in the top 2. I believe he was 3rd or 4th. Now we're going to go back to Monty, and it's just fun watching Monty all the way through. He was not high rolling. He wasn't necessarily getting all the pieces he needed, and you know that because he's got no economy here in round 21. No economy, very low on health, so he was just kind of desperate as the later stages went. But if you'll notice, he's got 2 players not far from him at the bottom. So Monty, it became a game of can he survive? And the answer is he did. He survived a little bit, didn't get 7th, didn't get 8th, left with 5 HP, but that would be the end for Monty. But we saw how powerful the Dragon Knight can be, as we can see a 1v4 at the end here to delay the inevitable. And I believe, did Monty, I believe, I don't know if he got past Fabula here. No, I don't remember if Monty finished. Did he finish? Okay, no, looks like he got knocked out before Fabula. But it was fun watching Monty try to stay alive. Finally, Ziggy. It was all about the assassins. Everyone knows who's played. Look at this Abyssal Crawler. Look at the damage on the right. It's just craziness. You know when you've played auto chess and you pick up those assassins and no one else is going for it, you're gonna have it. You're gonna have a good time. And then it was all about those 3-star assassins from Ziggy. No contest. It was close all the way through, but the assassins giving him the victory.